Şerefsiz Türkler kardeşime selamlar. Yozgat Sarıkaya selamlar, saygılar.
There is a name, a single name that sends chills down the spines of criminals and lawmen alike. Nekati Arabachi, the feared president of the Hells Angels, born in Cologne in 1972. One thing that sets him apart from others is his unashamed and openly gay lifestyle. In a domain where hypermasculinity and homophobia often govern, Arabachi openly disobeys laws and challenges traditions that have earned him fear and respect. With an offensive history that includes pimping, human trafficking, assault, extortion, and racketeering, Arabachi's empire of immoral and criminal activities has destroyed Germany's social values and norms, and a climate of fear in Europe. Early life and introduction to the Cologne nightlife scene.
Pardon, merhaba. Aracınız çok güzelmiş de ne iş yapıyorsunuz acaba? Peki, teşekkür.
Arabachi's story begins in the 1990s in Cologne, Germany, a time when the nightlife was wild, full of energy and chaotic. The city's club scene was lively, and this environment was perfect for someone like Nekati to rise to power. At first, he didn't come in as the boss he would later become. Instead, he started out working as a bouncer in nightclubs. But Nekati wasn't just any regular security guard. He was different. He had a group of Turkish guys who worked with him, known as the Kapıcılar. They started taking control of who got into the clubs, checking IDs, and ensuring that they made a profit out of it. The club owners didn't mind, and soon enough, Nekati became the go-to guy in Cologne's nightlife. He quickly made a name for himself, and before long, he wasn't just a bouncer. He was the boss of the whole scene. The crime world, a partnership with the Turkish Mafia. Being the boss of Cologne's nightlife wasn't enough for Arabachi. He wanted more power and more money, so he turned to the Turkish Mafia. This was the beginning of his real rise to power. Arabachi worked closely with the Turkish Mafia, and together they started making huge deals involving human trafficking, drug smuggling, and illegal weapons trading. The Turkish Mafia had connections all over Europe, and Arabachi's sharp mind made him the perfect partner for them. They worked together on smuggling drugs from South America, and Nekati quickly became a major player in the European drug market. But Nekati didn't rely just on crime for his money. He also made sure to set up legal businesses to clean his dirty money. He started opening clubs, brothels, and transport companies. On the outside, everything seemed legit, but behind the scenes, he was using these businesses to purify money from his criminal operations. Nekati was getting rich quickly and had become a powerful figure not only in Cologne but across Europe. But his thirst for power didn't just stop there. In 2010, it was reported that Arabachi took part in a meeting of international Hells Angels bosses in Izmir, Turkey. He had just been appointed president of the Hells Angels MC Nomads Turkey. In 2013, Arabachi was seen as a possible new leader of the European Hells Angels after previous leader Frank Hannebuth had been arrested in Spain. Joining the Hells Angels, a move for protection and more power. In the 1990s, Nekati Arabachi made one of his most important decisions. He joined the Hells Angels motorcycle gang. The Hells Angels were a feared and well-established group, known for their violent actions, including drug dealing, extortion, and racketeering. Arabachi was no stranger to violence, but joining the Hells Angels allowed him to expand his influence and gain protection for his criminal empire. The Hells Angels had a powerful name, and their reputation alone helped Arabachi grow even more powerful. He used their strength to shield himself from the law and other criminals, but at the same time he made sure to stay smart about it. He used their resources to his advantage, but never got too involved in their legal troubles. In return, the Hells Angels benefited from their relationship with Nekati. They were able to expand their business operations with his help, and Nekati ensured that they kept making money. It was a partnership that worked for both parties. Nekati got protection, and the Hells Angels made more money. But this was just one piece of the puzzle. Nekati was a genius when it came to thinking ahead, and he always found ways to stay ahead of the law. The fall and the comeback. Running business from jail. In 2004, Nekati's luck started to run out. He was arrested and sent to prison for 9 years. Many people thought that his criminal empire would collapse with him behind bars. But Nakati was not the type to give up easily. Even in prison, he kept control over his operations. His network was so vast that even from inside his jail cell, he was still able to manage his business and make money. His people continued to follow his orders, and the money kept flowing. In 2007, he was released early and sent to Turkey. But this was not the end for him. Instead of stopping his criminal activities, he used his time in Turkey to expand his empire even further. Nakati's operations had become too big for anyone to stop. He used his businesses as a front to hide his illegal activities, always moving his operations to different countries whenever the police started getting close. His ability to stay one step ahead of the law was impressive, and it allowed him to keep building his empire without getting caught. Hiding crime with real businesses. How Arabachi laundered money. Nakati Arabachi was not just about crime. He knew that to stay out of trouble, he had to make his empire look like a legitimate business. So he made sure to invest in businesses that appeared legal on the outside, but were being used to launder money. He set up clubs, brothels, and transport companies across Europe, but especially in Spain. There, he opened several brothels, making millions of euros from them. On the surface, these businesses seemed like ordinary companies, but in reality, they were being used to clean his dirty money from the illegal activities he was involved in. As soon as the authorities started catching on to his operations, Nakati moved his business to another country and started all over again. His ability to stay ahead of the law made him nearly impossible to catch.
Dennis Ilbay, ich gratuliere dir zum Kampf zu deinem Titel. Dein Vater ist der beste Coach.
The police knew he was involved in illegal activities, but they could never find enough evidence to stop him. This was the key to his success. Nakati Arabachi always knew when to move, when to lay low, and when to strike. Power-hungry and always wanting more, Arabachi's desire for power never ceased. No matter how much he gained, he always wanted more. He kept expanding his empire, taking down his enemies, and finding new ways to make money. His ambition knew no bounds, and it was this hunger for more that led to his eventual downfall. The police were always watching him, but they couldn't catch him for a long time because he was so clever and resourceful. However, in 2020, Nakati was arrested again in Turkey. His criminal empire had been under the radar for years, but he had made the mistake of becoming too bold. Even though Nakati was arrested, his empire did not fall. Some say that his business is still running today, with people still working for him and following his orders. He has become like a ghost, always escaping the law and staying one step ahead of those who are trying to bring him down. Nakati Arabachi is not just another criminal. He is a mastermind, a man who understands the world of crime better than anyone else. His ability to think strategically, build powerful networks, and stay ahead of the law made him one of the most feared figures in the European criminal world. His story is a lesson in how far someone is willing to go for power and money. Arabachi used his intelligence, connections, and ruthlessness to become a kingpin in the European underworld. And even today, his name is still feared by many. While it's unclear whether his empire will ever fully collapse, one thing is certain. Nakati Arabachi's name will live on as one of the most dangerous and successful criminals to ever operate in Europe. His legacy will continue to haunt the criminal world for years to come.